Okay, before I even get into the introduction of this video, please tell me why people dislike Isagi. Like, I get it. He says he wants to be a striker but plays at his best when he's a midfielder. But let's not forget, at the very start of his story, he had the ego of a striker, but his high school coach had stripped him of it and told Isagi that soccer was a team game. I mean, it is, but y'all know how it is in Blue Lock. Plus, half of the time that he aims to score a goal, there is a wall blocking him. And for the meat writers, the only people he has actually violated is Nico, Baro, and Yukimiya. Alright? Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into the video. The hero of Japan's football, the ace of Blue Lock, a genius in terms of adaptability, the one who dethroned the king. We've all seen amazing feats from both offense and defense. As a whole, Isagi is a high candidate for being the most complete player in Blue Lock. From being ranked 299th to once being ranked number 1. From being mediocre and a meaningless nobody in the beginning, to now have been recognized by 3 of the FIFA New Gen World 11 members, and my soccer fans all over the world. The one who resembles Luka Modric himself. A true maestro on the field, but just how good exactly is Isagi Yoichi? First, let's check his stat progression. We first see a glimpse of what Isagi's highs were in chapter 77 in the second selection, with the highs being his direct shot and his spatial awareness, in which we have already seen the direct shot against Nagi and his spatial awareness really starting against the match with Nico. Fast forward to chapter 157, we are in the Neo Egoist League arc, and Isagi is with Bastard Munich, which is the representation of the real-life soccer club Bayern Munich. Isagi and others are doing physical training for the selection of the starting 11 for the club. So if you all didn't know by now, Isagi is at an extreme disadvantage when it comes to physical stats. He's ranked last, but it was just because he didn't finish. Next chapter. Isagi is training once more in his positioning, aggressiveness, offensive focus, reaction, composure, short passes, and shot accuracy all have risen. This might be useless to some people, but just hear me out, it's progress. Now on to the next chapter. We get to see his stats before the first game of the NEL. Isagi is a 76 overall with 75 speed, being a B grade average, defense being a 72, which is a B, 69 passing, C, 65 dribbling, another C, 77 shot, another B, and lastly his offense as a whole is at a 87, being the only A letter grade average as of right then and there. So at that point you could definitely say Isagi was indeed mediocre. Before the next match with Manshine City, the anime version of Manchester City, Isagi is now a 82 overall with his speed staying the same, defense increasing from a 72 to a 75, passing from a 69 to a 74, his dribbling and shot only going up by 1, and his overall offense improving by starting out at a 87 to at this point a 91, gaining his first S-rated stat. After training and also going to Kunigami for help, Isagi is now at a 88 overall. His offense is now at a 94, speed finally moving from a 75 to a 77, defense staying the same, passing from a 74 to a 78, dribbling going from a 66 to a 70, and lastly shot going from a 78 to an 82. Isagi is now rated only 4th overall in the Bastard Munich team, only being behind 2 world-class talents being Ness and Kaiser, and also being behind Kunigami, which in my opinion is completely bogus because aside from scoring and physicality, Kunigami cannot touch Isagi in anything else, and in this arc he had only scored because of Isagi, with 2 of his goals being a direct assist against FC Barca and an indirect assist due to capitalizing off of Kaiser being in the way of Isagi's direct shot. Now that stats are out of the way, let's get into his feats throughout the Blue Lock series so far. In the third selection, there was Team A versus Team B. Isagi was on Team A that Rin and Shido, the number 1 and 2 players in all of Blue Lock at that point, were on. Rin and Shido just could not get it together due to having completely different playstyles and not coexisting with one another. Rin is a player who carefully calculates the best possible location to shoot, and Shido moves instinctively to where he can score a goal. So Isagi had used those two's failure to make a good team to his advantage, but couldn't really do anything in the game due to just simply being outmatched. Regardless, while in flow, he was able to surpass both Rin and Shido, the number 1 and 2 players of all of Blue Lock, by reacting and moving quicker than both, using Hiyori's advice to move by reflex before even thinking, creating his own luck. After the heavily destructive duel between the Itoshi brothers Rin and Sei, Rin knocked the ball away from Sei and luckily landed in the hands of Isagi, which had ended up in a goal to end the game 4-3. After the game, Aiku, the captain of the Japan U20 team, went up to Isagi. "Nice goal, hero. Were you aiming for my blind spot the whole time?" Isagi had replied, "Yes, that and a spot where I could instantly score. And also, I believe that Rin would defeat Itoshi Sei. That was the crystallization of the trust in his trance that I cultivated during the 90 minutes of this match." Just to sum it up, Isagi basically predicted what would happen in the Itoshi brothers duel, went into Aiku's blind spot, which may not seem great to most, but Aiku was locking up nearly everyone to the point that it was like the whole field had been caught in a spider web. Then placed himself in a position where he could score instantly. Obtain metavision. Metavision is the highest level of spatial awareness, being deemed godlike in the match against Manshine City, which was originally Kaiser's, in the same match that was introduced. Now, although he did pass out after the match due to overheating because he was pushing himself past his limits to embarrass Kaiser, which he did, in the new match against Ubers, which is the representation of Juventus, Isagi is using metavision off rip. Devouring the World's number 2. Isagi had nullified Chris Prince's knuckleball shot. Most might not see it as a feat, but Isagi was the only one to react to the shot and even came up with a plan for the shot to be blocked almost 100% either way by having Gagumaru go low whilst Isagi went high. Using Noel Noah as a pawn. A lot of the Blue Lock community doesn't really count this because since Noel Noah is the number 1 player in the world, they say he just let himself be used by Isagi. But still, Isagi used him as a pawn. The power to stop miracles. While he had already gained the power to create miracles when he achieved his flow state, it wasn't until the match against Manshine City where he had completely shut down Nagi's touch that he had gained the ability to stop miracles from happening. Speed blitzing Uber's defense. Isagi had speed blitzed the Uber's defense with the help of Corona, but it's not as simple as you think it is. Ambassador's first possession of the game against Ubers, after intercepting the pass from Lorenzo to Barro, Isagi is immediately on the move as he teams with Corona once again, who was arguably his best teammate. Although it was simple, Corona and Isagi completely bull rushed the Uber's defense with some 1-2s. Of course, there were Isagi's own teammates planning to stop him again. First we have Yukimiya, who tries to body Isagi, but just like as he did in the previous game against Manshine City, Isagi uses Yukimiya as bait and makes Yukimiya run into someone to get past an obstacle. Next, there was Kaiser. Unlike in the previous game, Kaiser was unable to get into Isagi's way as Don Lorenzo has marked him and had Kaiser on lockdown. Last but not least, we have the biggest meat muncher in all of Blue Lock, Ness. Okay, so we've seen that Isagi's direct shot ability has a major weakness, and it's that all you have to do is just knock him off balance because he only shoots with his right foot. But Isagi pulls out another trick in his bag and actually uses his weak foot to score his first goal of the NEL. Why is this a feat? Aside from what I've already said, Isagi in just 5 days had trained with Kunigami, Bachida, and Chigiri to gain a secondary weapon to complement his right-footed direct shot. Guys, he literally learned how to switch feet with the direct shot ability in just 5 days. He's not deemed as a genius when it comes to adaptability for no reason. In conclusion to this video, Isagi is no longer mediocre. He is now a world-class player who aspires to be the number 1 striker, but as of right now just excels when it comes to playing midfielder. Isagi is now at the point where he can use both offenses and defenses as his pawns. The game master, if you will. He is known as Japan's hero around the world after scoring the game-winning volley to beat the Japan U20 team. He was awarded man of the match even though he didn't score any goals against Manshine City. He is ranked number 4 in the whole Neo Egoist League without having a single goal under his belt and having 3 assists so far. I'm pretty sure he's physically exceptional now due to the training from Kunigami, but prior to that, he had almost always pulled through when it mattered while being at a disadvantage physically. We all say Nagi has the most potential, but with Isagi constantly evolving every single match, what will Isagi look like when he reaches his peak of his soccer career? Alright, well that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video down below in the comments. And I guess without further ado, I will see you guys later.